So today I'm going to show you how I made this cute card. I used colored pencils. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little bit closer what I've done. So I started out with a card base that measures 10 by 7. This aside for a minute. And my first layer is going to be blue, and then I have this layer which I'm going to go ahead and punch, but I want to show you how I got this layer. So my first blue layer is going to measure 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then this white one that'll go on top, well actually it's not white, but I'll show you how I got it to be this color in just a minute. It measures 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So the way that you do that is by using the stamp, our main image that we're going to be using today, which is this Hero Art stamp, and it's called Tall Flower. And I just picked this up at Michael's, along with some versamark. And all you need to do is take a white piece of paper. I'm going to use another piece of paper here to protect my surface. And we'll ink up our stamp with this versamark. And this is great because it's resistant to ink. When we put ink over the top of it, this image will stay in white, and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to kind of go off the page just a little bit, and you probably won't be able to see this really well, but hopefully when I add some ink you'll see a little bit better. I do this a couple of times, and I like to re-ink it each time I stamp it. I feel like it gives me a wider image when I'm inking. Hopefully I'm staying in the screen here. And one more time. Just cleaning off my stamp so it'll be ready to use in just a moment. Okay, again that's Versamark, which is a watermark stamp pad. I just want to close on me. There we go. And then you're just going to pick an ink that matches, and I'm using this Ink Essentials inking pad. I'm just going to rub some ink on it. I just kind of start out in a circular motion, and as you do that you'll be able to see, hopefully you can see that the white image starts to come out and the ink stays behind. Pretty cool, right? You'll have to try it out. And we'll go ahead and set this aside, and here's my finished one. We'll go ahead and adhere these together. And then I'll show you how I did my stamped image. Okay, so to do the stamped part, took some black, Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and my stamped image again. I'll go ahead and ink that up. This one's got a lot of little detail up at the very top, so I'm going to make sure I get lots of ink on it. And then this piece of cardstock is 2 3/4 by 5 1/8. And there's my image. And then what I did was just took some plain old ordinary colored pencils. You can use any kind you want. And I'll just do one flower and one leaf so that you can kind of see what I did. Took and outlined just like this around the edges. And I actually added a little bit more depth here at the bottom. So it's just, again, coloring with colored pencils, pretty basic. Remember, this is not watercolors. These are wax-based colored pencils. And this goes fairly quickly once you've done it a few times. Not a lot of skill involved if you can outline. Okay, so where I've already outlined, oops, a little more color. I'm going to take this pen And this is what it looks like if you buy it at Michael's. It says Artist Loft on it. And on the pen it says Finesse, Colored Pencil Blender Pen. And I think this is so much easier than using like Gamsol, especially if you're traveling and want to do a little bit of coloring when you're not at home. So I always keep a little piece of paper beside me to clean my brush off as I go so that my colors don't get blended. But then I'm just going to very lightly start to work in just a little bit of this color. And this is amazing. It just breaks down the wax in the colored pencil and starts to spread things, and then it gives you this really pretty watercolor effect. But you don't have to spend a lot of money on colored or watercolor pencils, which can get pricey. Just work it until you're happy with how it looks. Clean my pen off again. And then to do a leaf, for example, it's pretty much the same process. Just a little outlining. And fill in the leaf with the pen. And what I like to do, which I think kind of just gives it a little extra something, after you've colored your whole image in and you've done all your blending, is to take a little bit of gray and do some shading. So if you come underneath your image with your gray pencil, just like this, and you're going to want to do, you know, on this side of this flower, on this side of this flower, underneath the bottom leaves, underneath these bottom leaves, and that's probably about all the shading you'll need. And then you take your blender pen again, double checking that it's clean, and just kind of work this a little bit looser. And it gives such a cool shadow. Makes you look more like a professional artist than someone who's just having fun. Which I think we all artists, you know, we all are artists as we try all these different kinds of crafts and things. But it does take a little bit of a creative eye. So after you've filled your image in, you'll end up with a piece that looks like this. Oh, I was going to show you how I stamped my sentiment here. I used a stamp that comes from this Hero Arts pack, and it's the one right here, I Simply Enjoy You. And I just took my little Fiskars stamp punch here. So you'll just ink up your image. I know you're not supposed to do it this way, it says to do it the opposite way, but it's easier. And then line up where you want it, and press, and there you go, your stamped image. I'll set that one aside. And then the piece that goes underneath this one, the blue layer, is 3 inches by 5.5. We'll go ahead and put those together. And on this piece you'll notice I also rounded the corners with my Fiskar punch. Looks good. And then before I attach these together, I want to add a little bit of ribbon. Sorry, I'm looking for my Scotch tape. Oh, there it is. Always missing when you need it. And probably right about there. So this is just very simple, and it's just, you know, about trying a new technique. If you've never played around with colored pencils and using a blender pen, you should try it. It's fun, it's cute. Let's go ahead and attach this onto our card base. I like it. You get kind of a softer image than you get when you use like the Copic markers or the Prima markers. Be fun for spring or for Mother's Day. Okay. And we'll add on our stamped image. And I'm actually going to put it to the side just a little bit so that we can add some ribbon. Whoops. It just would not be me if I didn't do that. Like I let go at the wrong point. There we go. Okay, and then another little piece of ribbon to slip through the side here. And I'm just going to double knot it. So basically just choose a color for your matte part. You know, pick a color out of here, and that's the color you're going to decide to use. I just didn't want too much. I still wanted it to be subtle. And then I'm going to take my scissors, give myself a little bit of an angle, and my ribbon here. Cute little faux bow. And so that's what it looks like when you're all finished. So I'll slide my other one up front again here. And if you have any questions or comments, I hope you'll leave me a post. Thanks for watching.